There's one number quoted in every property headline and every dinner table argument in this country, the suburb median. And it might be the most misleading number in Australian property. Because in most suburbs, the median describes a property that doesn't exist. And it hides the one you should actually be buying. Today, with live Melbourne data from this month, I'll show you exactly what it's hiding. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Quick context if you're new, this is PropSpotter and we do three things in order. Research, 30 plus institutional data sources, source the specific property that fits your numbers with 24/7 listing alerts, and coach, one-on-one through the whole buy. 50 plus investors coached, 5 stars, and a small client book on purpose. We don't do hype, we do where, so let's pull this median thing apart. Let's start with what a median even is. It's the middle sale. You line up every property that's sold, houses and units, 2-bedders and 5-bedders, and you grab the one smack bang in the middle, which means the median is an average of completely different assets blended into one number. Take South Yarra. Say the name and people, picture one market. The data this month shows 2. Houses, a typical price of 2.2 million on a yield of 2.76%. Units, 837,000 on 4.63%. Same postcode, same week. One is a capital growth play you negatively gear and hope for. The other pays you 68% more income per dollar invested. The South Yarra median blends those into a number that describes neither. And that's the number most people make a 6 or 7 figure decision on. And it's not a one-off. St Kilda, same month. Houses, 1.72 million at 2.99%. Units, 756,000 at 4.54. Preston, houses 1.26 million at 3.03. Units, 613,000 at 4.81. See the pattern? In every one of these suburbs, the houses sit around 3% and the units sit around 4.5 to 5. The suburb yield you get quoted is a blend that's wrong for both. If you're buying for cash flow and you anchor to the suburb median, you've mispriced your own deal before you've even made an offer. So why does this happen? Composition. South Yarra is 62% renters, high density, unit heavy. The unit market there is huge and liquid. The house market is small and prestige. So the median gets dragged around by whichever segment happened to transact more that month. It's not a signal, it's noise distressed as a sound signal. And it gets worse with growth numbers. This suburb grew 8% can mean the houses ran and the units went sideways, or the exact reverse. Without segmenting, you genuinely do not know what you're looking at. You're guessing with a number that looks like data. So here's how we read a suburb properly. 4 steps in order. Number 1, the segment. Never look at the suburb, look at the unit market and the house market as 2 separate businesses, because they are. Number 2, score the segment. Cash flow, capital growth, lower risk, 0 to 100 on that exact segment, not the suburb blend. And 3, check the cycle. Is the segment at a trough, increasing or peaking? Entry timing lives here. And 4, run the hard filters. Vacancy rate needs to be under 1.5%, approvals ratio under 1%. A segment can look perfect on price and yield and still fail here. And if it fails here, it's out, non-negotiable. Let's run it live and watch the median get embarrassed. Reservoir units this month, a 4.74% yield, unremarkable. But segment and score at cash flow, 87, lower risk 96 on a market of over 20,000 dwellings. That's a deep, liquid, low risk segment. The kind of market where the data is trustworthy because there are enough sales to price off. Now compare that to a suburb posting a flashier 6.18% Kingsville units. Same scoring engine returns a lower risk score of 53, a confidence of medium, and a vacancy of 1.76%, which fails our filters outright. 2 yields, 474 versus 618. The lower one is the better investment, and you would only know that by segmenting and filtering. Then Preston, unit yield 4.81, again boring on the surface, underneath a capital growth score of 92 and a cycle reading of trough, the bottom. That's the timing signal. The median would have told you none of this. The segment told you everything. So next time someone quotes you a suburb median, ask them one question. Median of what? Houses or units? Because they're not the same market, they almost never move together, and the blended number in the headline is built to be quoted on, not to be invested on. Segment first, score the segment, check the cycle, run the filter, in that order, every time. If you'd rather not run 30 data sources and 4 filters on every suburb yourself, that's literally our job here at PropSpotter. We research, we source the specific property that fits your numbers, and we quote you one-on-one through the purchase. It's an application, not an inquiry. We keep the book small on purpose. Links in the description. And if the median thing was useful, there are a dozen more numbers the industry quotes that fall apart the same way. Subscribe and we'll keep pulling them apart. See you in the next one.